But you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than hitting a whale with your boat. There has only been, listen to this, one such whale killed off the coast of South Carolina in the last...
Dude, let me tell you something. Trump is like the absolute GOAT at like finding some random minor thing that is, by the way, regionally specific. He does this all the time. Trump has never had a single moment of clarity. You're kidding? Wait, what are we talking about? Trump is literally the absolute best at finding a singular piece of information that is region specific and hammering that in the dumbest way possible. And then everyone from that region going, yeah, no, he's 100% correct about that actually. Like, we've done this before, and tying it to like something totally inappropriate, by the way. Yeah, the fish dying in California was a great example of like something that I didn't even fucking know. And then it turns out he wasn't wrong. It's just that he was using it in the absolute fucking wrong place. Like completely irrelevant to the point that he's trying to make.
Last 50 years. But on the other hand, their windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Nobody does anything.
You don't get it. The windmills are killing the whales. And did you hear the crowd? They went, yeah!
But on the other hand, their windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Nobody does anything about that. They're washing.
They're clapping. They're fucking clapping. That shit is directly from the Heritage Foundation, by the way. This is clarity. He is perfectly demonstrating Heritage Foundation talking points in a charismatic fashion to his fucking audience of idiots. That in and of itself is like, he is the best political operative then. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Windmills killing whales is clarity? No, brother. You and I have very different opinions on clarity, I think. What do you expect a Republican president to say? Like, you want him to be truthful and honest? Like, I don't understand. He's running for president on the Republican ticket. Like, for what he is supposed to do, he's doing a great job with it in a way where Brandon, unfortunately, is not as good. We really got to stop to consider how responsive his inane ramblings is less defined by his coherency and more by how fucking stupid his audience is. I mean, the dude is senile, though. He doesn't say anything that makes sense. Dude, you're crazy. You literally just described Trump making a coherent point that is an American Heritage or the Heritage Foundation talking point to an audience that loved it. Like he straight up delivered American Enterprise Institute talking points in a way that is like super palatable. So is Biden stumbling on his words, not clarity, but Trump doing that is that what you mean? No. For Joseph Robinette Biden, moments where he like fails to deliver in a charismatic fashion the talking points that he's supposed to deliver is a sign of a politician losing their mental cognition. That's what I'm saying. Trump is the GOAT at delivering fake populist messaging to a reactionary audience and retaining the position that he's like pro-worker, pro-labor rights, while simultaneously absolutely holding the material interests of capital owners close to his heart. That's what he does, and that's what he does best. He does it better than any of the fucking Republicans that are much younger than he is. The delivery driver who shot a YouTube prankster was acquitted by the jury? Wait, no fucking way. Whoa, I can't show this because it's like obviously TOS, but that's fucking sick. I mean, he should not get acquitted because he did shoot someone. He still got shooting a gun in a crowded dwelling. That is so American. I have conflicted feelings on this. You know what I mean? I have conflicted feelings on this because, like, on the one hand, I'm like, I mean, he was being fucking really annoying, right? But also on the other hand, you can't shoot motherfuckers for being annoying, right? Yeah, it is not a good precedent at all. You can't just be out here fucking capping YouTubers. Like, look, it's fucking smooth. I mean, you can't even see, like, any blood or anything, so it's not, like, super TOS. He goes, get that shit out of my face. Like, he pushes it down. And he's like a big dude. He's an intimidating presence. And he keeps walking up to him. He keeps walking up to him as he's like walking back. Look, he pulls out the gun. And boom, like immediately. He literally just goes, boom, and keeps walking. Jury acquits man who shot YouTube prankster at the mall food court. Footage of the incident shows Tanner Cook harassing Alan Coley for his YouTube channel, which features other pranks like pretending to vomit on Uber drivers. Leesburg, VA. A jury on Thursday found a delivery driver not guilty of the shooting of a YouTube prankster who followed him around a mall food court earlier this year. Alan Coley, 31, was acquitted of aggravated malicious wounding of the shooting of Tanner Cook, 21, who runs the classified Goons YouTube channel. Yeah, big L for the Gooners today. The jury was split, though, on 2 lesser firearms counts and decided to convict him on one and acquit him on the other. The April 2nd shooting at the food court in Dulles Town Center, about 45 minutes west of the nation's capital, set off panic as shoppers fled what they feared might be a mass shooting. Coley pled not guilty and said he was acting in self-defense. The verdict came Thursday, about 5 hours of deliberation. 3 hours in, the jury sent out a note saying it was divided in terms of whether the defendant acted in self-defense. Obviously, it's not an appropriate response, and he should have been found guilty because, like, I think self-defense on that is, like, ridiculous. I think the boundaries of self-defense should be a lot higher. Self-defense with a weapon especially should be a lot higher. I get from a legal setting, like a decent lawyer could make that look permissible because he's taller than he is. He's up in his face. He tries to first physically retaliate, and the guy keeps coming after him as he turns his back. All of those factors in consideration is the reason why there was a hung jury in this circumstance. Like, 100%. So it's one of those moments where, like, you kind of understand why it happened. Having said that, though, I think if there should be more stringent rules around being able to use your weapon in public in such a manner, and that the boundaries for illegal activity in that manner should be much, much higher. As in, like, what is considered legally permissible when there's a gun should be much different than, like, a knife or any other, you know, blunt object or your hands, you know what I mean? Like, once you pull the fucking gun out, it's like you're operating on very different standards that I personally think in a better legal system would find him guilty for sure.
Dramatic reversal in the battle over the southern border. The Biden administration is pushing through a plan to add to a border wall in southern Texas due to a surge in illegal crossings. The White House is waiving more than 24 federal laws to do so.
Well, the White House is pushing back on the idea that this building of 17 miles of border wall in South Texas is being done because of pressure from even Republicans and even members.
Yeah, this will definitely work. I think we should always concede to, like, insane made-up problems that Republicans claim are destroying America. That's the best way to go about it, especially after you campaign on the wall being racist. I think that's the best thing to do. Always make concessions to your enemy who owns a particular talking point, especially when you do that as a Democrat. All you're doing is basically conceding that this is a problem, and it's one that only they can solve. So there is no better way to duke it out than to capitulate to your enemy. It's always something that happens in American politics. It's weak, it's shitty, you're basically conceding that there is a major problem when there isn't one. And when you do that, one side is the masters at solving that problem. You yourself are always going to be seen as someone who doesn't really have it in their heart to fix it. One of the greatest examples of this exact story is when the majority of Democrats got together and voted without anyone asking on a messaging bill that said, fuck socialism, including Ro Khanna. Why would you do that? Are you that stupid? To the Republican, to the average Republican, they see you voting on that and think, wow, classic how dumb these socialists are that they are voting against socialism. It must be because they're stupid that they voted on socialism bad. Literally called denouncing the horrors of socialism. There's nothing funnier to me than being a Democrat and voting to pass a messaging bill, a resolution denouncing socialism, the horrors of socialism. The resolution overwhelmingly cleared the chamber in a 328-86-14 vote. The majority of Democrats, 109 of them, voted with all the Republicans for the resolution, while 86 voted against it and 14 voted present. The measure, which runs 3 pages, says socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into communist regimes, totalitarian rule, and brutal dictatorships. The reason why I find this to be incredibly stupid is not because I expect our capitalist politicians to take a brave stance and say, no, it's not like that. The reason why I'm angry is because it's so stupid that you would vote on the socialism bad messaging bill when every single person on the other side says you're a socialist. You think you can separate yourself from that level of Red Scare propaganda that you yourself contributed to for years, you fucking idiot? No, these people say everything and anything that's bad is socialist. They say Nancy Pelosi is socialist. So when Nancy Pelosi votes for socialism bad messaging bills, that just solidifies the position that even they are saying socialism is bad. But these people don't care. All you've done is conceded to them. Now they can keep weaponizing socialism as a bad thing towards any kind of socialization initiatives that you might want to pass. It's so stupid. All right, let's get to Kaiser Permanente.
Strike across the U.S. could start in about 24 hours. Tens of thousands of healthcare workers at Kaiser Permanente are threatening to walk out if a new contract is not reached by tomorrow's deadline.
Kaiser Permanente and union leaders began the negotiating in April of this year, but the workers' contract expired on Saturday. Now, if they're unable to reach an agreement, more than 75,000 healthcare workers will go.
Dude, I didn't even read a single thing about this. Let me tell you, okay? I know exactly what they're striking for. Are you ready? Didn't read a single piece of information on it. Staff more nurses. Increased nurse pay and staff more nurses. It is fucking insane. They never get any benefits. They rarely ever get time off, and they are stretched too thin. These are not demands being made specifically for lazy nurses that just want to work less, but instead specifically made so that they can provide better health care to everyone, okay? Do you want to know why I know this without seeing the fucking strike? Actually, you know what? Let's watch it first and see if I'm wrong on this or not.
The strike would target hundreds of Kaiser medical facilities and hospitals in several states and Washington, D.C. The coalition says some of the hundreds of jobs that could be affected by the strike include nurses, pharmacists, technicians, therapists, dietary services, housekeepers, and more. They say they're calling for safe staffing levels and higher wages.
Yeah. You want to know why I was right without actually fucking reading a single line here? Because it's been the consistent fucking problem. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID. It's literally the same. Talk to a single fucking nurse. Talk to any healthcare professional that isn't a fucking doctor, and they will tell you how insane the situation is. That's it. And it's always the same. And every fucking hospital system, every healthcare provider system goes, oh, we can't do that. And then they just like wait it out and try to fuck over the nurses by overpaying traveling nurses who are professional scabs, okay, more money than they could actually ever imagine paying the fucking actual staff nurses. Oh.
Kaiser Permanente said its goal is to reach a fair and equitable agreement and that it's hired 22,000 frontline employees so far this year. If a deal is not met, the workers would strike Wednesday for up to 3 days. Patients might experience delays or cancellations, including those who need to fill a prescription or need lab work or x-rays. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. It's like, it's never, this has always been consistent. Just every single instance, every single time there's any labor action on the healthcare side, this is always what they are demanding. They are so insanely fucking reasonable, okay?
Nearly 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers are expected to walk out on October 4th if an agreement to resolve a staffing crisis is not reached by the end of this week. For more on what to expect, we're joined by Caroline Lucas, Executive Director of the Coalition of Kaiser Permanente Unions. And for the impact on stocks, Mizuho's healthcare sector specialist Jared Holtz joins us.
That's crazy. Dude, this is such a sick setup. They're like, hey, guys, on the one hand, we have the people that are making these demands, a representative from the union. On the other hand, we have what really matters, the stocks. Okay, let's be real. What's the stock going to look like? That's so sick.
Caroline, we'll start with you. Tell us about the staffing crisis you're experiencing.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I just want to say that we have been raising the alarm as frontline healthcare workers about the staffing crisis now for years. We are really concerned about the impact to not just worker safety, but also patient care. And Kaiser executives are not showing up with the urgency needed to address this short staffing crisis. Thanks for having me.
Caroline Lucas.
Damn, that was it? That's crazy.
Sounds like, again...
Wait, what the fuck? They don't let him duke it out? Is the second part?
Maybe this starts as a 3-day effort. Unlike with the auto workers, you can't imagine something like this could really drag on.
Kelly, thanks for having me. I agree. It doesn't sound like this is going to be a major fiasco for the company or the stocks in healthcare. You know, we're looking at a 3-day strike potentially. I think this is one of the many issues that's impacting the healthcare sector and the medical device space more specifically. But to Caroline's point, I think there's a lot of optimism. Obviously, it may not happen, But even if it does, we're looking at a few days. So at worst, we're looking at some deferred procedures that will take place over the coming weeks or months.
Before talking about medical devices in particular, what would happen if hospitals and maybe some that are not public?
The stock guy is like giving more of a favorable to the union side talking point. So the host has to turn around and go, no, but give us like the real bad stuff. Like think about evil, dead people. Think about like people dying, corpses piling in the streets. Like can you paint a more grim reality than one that is conciliatory to the demands of the union?
It's been just an intense couple of years for the healthcare sector in particular, having to kind of go through COVID, coming out of it, and then feeling like now they have chronic staffing shortages. So you mentioned medical devices. Let's talk about why this area in particular could see more fallout. Talk me through that.
Well, there are so many cross currents taking place in medical devices. We have obviously the biggest one has been, the impact that these obesity medications could have on the broader space. You and I have talked about it at length before in terms of, what the weight loss medications are going to do to delay or defer a lot of the procedures that are taking place, whether it's cardiovascular, orthopedic, et cetera. The diabetes medical device stocks have gotten hammered. Sleep apnea is another category that has obviously been decimated as the street is kind of...
That's so funny that like Ozempic is such a miracle drug for obesity and like tackling obesity that the sleep apnea stocks are down. What the fuck? Rupert Murdoch steps down as Fox chairman.
Right now, Rupert Murdoch has now announced he is stepping down as the chairman of Fox Corporation and Fox News. It's been a long-awaited question of what his plans were for the future, what his succession plan was. This is a big news today.
This is huge news. Rupert Murdoch telling employees that he's stepping down as chairman of Fox Corporation and also News Corporation, which is his publishing arm. He wrote to employees saying he's in good health, but now is the time to step down. I want to read to you part of the note that just went out to employees moments ago. It says here on my phone, the time is right for me to take on different roles, knowing that we have truly talented teams and a passionate principal leader in Lachlan, his son, who will become the chairman of both companies. And of course, Rupert Murdoch is one of the most powerful media moguls in the world. Fox News, everyone's familiar with it. It is arguably the strongest organ in the right-wing media ecosystem. It propped up Donald Trump for many years. I think most people would suggest that Donald Trump was strongly protected, obviously, by Fox News, and this is Rupert Murdoch's, biggest media company, and so he controls all this. So him stepping down will obviously have not only impact in the media world, but also in the political world, Kate.
Listen, man, it's impossible not to do a Succession reference because it's like a direct one-to-one comparison to what happened. I mean, it's not a direct one-to-one comparison. It's obviously embellished and it's like different. Like the moving parts are a little different, but like very similar to like Roger Ailes, Rupert Murdoch, their influence in general.
What does this say, and what do you think this will portend for this massive media company, for the direction that is Fox News? He is not just any media mogul. I
heard they're closing up shop, dude. They're making it woke now. Lachlan is woke. He's making a woke turn. There's like a polar shift happening where Fox is going to be the woke network and MSNBC and CNN are going to be right-wing now.
He had a strong hand in the direction things took and the people that were put in charge, like the era of Roger Ailes.
Right. I think if someone like James Murdoch, the son who tends to be more liberal on things, were to come into power, I think that would mean major changes are coming to the companies. But
it's so crazy because people are like, who cares? Like, this is just television. Like, man, do you know the global power that these fucking dipshits have? Like, you know how we look at hogs in Australia, right? We're like, oh man, how funny that like they're just like us. It's like that didn't materialize out of nowhere. Okay. Someone had to hogify them. That's it. Like these Fox News's impact is mostly due to Roger Ailes, okay? Rupert Murdoch's impact, on the other hand, is global. His role in beefing up global capitalism and like creating like a steady propaganda outlet for global capitalism goes far beyond Fox News.
But with Lachlan Murdoch, I think he's much more aligned probably with his father's vision. He's said to be very conservative on a lot of things. And so I'm not sure how much of a change editorially you'll see, but certainly there's going to be some change. You know, Lachlan is not his father. And so what that looks like, I don't know. I can't tell you right now. But I would imagine that someone new coming in, taking the throne, that is going to lead to some change.
Back to the motherfucking dress code in the Senate.
Tonight, a Senate known for its buttoned-up image is in an uproar over this change. He's 6'8", weighs about 270, and walks around the Senate halls with a hoodie and shorts on. And he isn't a tourist. Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, whose choice of attire has forced him to vote.
Maybe Republicans are just scared because he looks like he's doing January 6th again. Like John Fetterman in the Senate gives them whiplash because they feel like he's doing January 6th every time he walks in.
Rather than on the Senate floor under the Senate's previous unwritten dress code, today was seen proudly wearing those casuals while presiding over the Senate.
The senator from Texas.
Now that Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has relaxed the dress code, almost every Republican senator has signed a letter spearheaded by Florida Senator Rick Scott calling on Schumer to keep enforcing the code.
This has got to change back. We've got to have decorum. We've got to dress the way the American public would expect their U.S. senators to dress.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley saying it stinks. Senator John Kennedy saying,
I don't like it.
And Republican Senator Susan Collins joking, quote, I plan to wear a bikini tomorrow to the Senate floor. Some Democrats seem reluctant to criticize the change.
Do you think it should be changed?
I just think there's a whole lot more important things for us to worry about. So I'm fine, you know, as long as people cover all the private parts.
How are these guys making this a bigger deal than it actually is? Bro, who the ever-loving fuck cares? Are you joking? Do your fucking jobs, man. This is not it, okay? Do the job that you're supposed to do. Who cares?
Fetterman today firing back, saying, quote, if those jagovs in the House stop trying to shut our government down and fully support Ukraine, then I will save democracy by wearing a suit on the Senate floor next week. And telling MSNBC on Monday,
the right have been like losing their mind. You know, they're just like, oh my God, aren't there more important things we should be talking about rather than if I dress like a slob?
Now, even Senator Fetterman says he's not sure if he'll always take advantage of the new rules. Fetterman was recently quoted as saying it's nice to have the option, but that he's planning on using the new dress code sparingly and not overusing it.
I'm not kidding. I feel like this is a psyop to make the Republicans look like incredibly fucking annoying and out of touch. I can't help but feel like this is 5D chess or something because like they are reacting in the stupidest way possible. Absolutely zero human beings would legitimately care about this.